All right, welcome back, fellas. Been a minute. Kind of excited to get kicking, again. We won't have a guest for everyone watching. We won't have a guest tonight. Tonight's gonna be a little bit unique. We've been looking forward to doing something like this anyway. So we will have some things coming up, planned. We will have 2 live on Instagram, on YouTube, all that. The Wiz Kid and Chris are getting that all set up. But we will have 2 college coaches, a really high-end D1 coach and a really high-end D2 coach. That'll be live, so we'll get it out to everybody. That way
We're not
they
going to
can
give it out yet, right? Tease it
No, they're not gonna give it out yet. Nope, because I want to make sure the dates. I want to get all that stuff cleaned up. But everybody that tunes in can just literally will be able to
type a question.
type a question right then and there.
So that's great.
Yeah.
So like a live forum.
Literally live.
That's
Literally live Instagram, live everything.
That's what That's what the people want, right there.
Yeah, I think so.
That's gonna be great. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like instead of hearing us about a little bit over Long Island, you hear a little bit, Northeast or wherever it is.
That's part of the tease, right? Both colleges and college coaches are not in New York.
Get out of the bubble a little bit.
You get it right from the source, college coach.
Yeah, 1 D1, 1 D2. They can ask every portal question, all that good stuff. So
that's awesome.
That's coming up real soon. I'm excited about that. But listen, we're in, even though this weather doesn't say so, we're in the beginning. Yeah.
He's been out there grinding.
I coached 2 games Saturday. Yeah. That was not ideal baseball conditions.
But that's the Northeast. If these kids want to play college baseball in the Northeast, you're going to have to get used to that.
Yeah. And just so, for our audience to know too, this is raw. We haven't spoken about how we're going to get into this conversation today. But what we will talk about, and obviously the weather will come into play in this conversation, is the combination of the importance of high school baseball. I hate to say versus summer ball because they have their own unique things. Yeah. But I keep getting hit up for years, and this is a cool forum for us to discuss it. And I've never asked you guys these questions, so everything here is going to be, like I said, unedited type of stuff. But I have kids that'll say, "Yo, coach, I go to this high school and they suck, and we're going to lose." And I try to sit them down and say, "Listen." Or I love the one that's like, "Hey, we're going to be in such a good conference," or "Hey, whatever. I'm at Chaminade. What if I don't make the team? This and that." Or if
you'll get that.
100%.
Very talented player won't make it
because it's a big risk going to a Catholic school nowadays. If you're not a top end player.
Yeah, and I mean even Massapequa and Massapequa. We've said it probably before on here. I've had a kid that did not make the Massapequa team until his senior high school, and he's playing college baseball and contributing at a high level.
That's the crazy story.
At those big schools, you'll be a sophomore. And either you won't make the team or you're like, "Oh, coach, everyone around Long Island as sophomores getting pulled up the varsity. Why am I not good enough?" And stuff like that. But no,
the Catholic schools don't really pull kids up.
Oh, listen, you're the freshman coach at Chaminade, and you have dudes you have guys from different travel programs that could all play varsity ball at some public schools.
For sure,
and it's a freshman team. So
now, did any of the freshmen at Chaminade get pulled up to the 10th grade team or no?
No.
It's just strictly.
No, we believe in a culture.
Yep.
And we believe in those kids growing up and playing together, and we think
that's the thing. You're building that team chemistry from 9th grade.
Yeah, and so that's this is how we can kick it off a little bit, right? So so many high schools, man, and I hear what the kids are saying. The school sucks. The coach is a math teacher. He doesn't even coach, baseball really. And then you have guys that are, kind of high school coaches that are like, "I couldn't care less about your travel program. I don't care about that. I'll throw you 120 pitches, all that." And there's nothing wrong with anything I'm saying here. This is just stuff you hear from, experience and seeing it out there. So, for us being in the travel world, right? And, people know I had an opportunity that I turned down this year. I've had opportunities in the past to coach high school ball. And I've actually felt a little conflicted. Do I want to go do that? Yeah. And then do I have to start to worry about hey, there's 3 B1 kids, 3 Titan kids, 3 this, 3 that, how I approach that. So I've actually shied away from that a bit. I salute people that are in it. It's not the easiest thing to do. But for you, it's a little different. It's your alma mater. You care about Chaminade baseball. Yeah. For me, if I did go back, if Mepham was an opportunity for me, I would probably be a little bit more I just want Mepham. I don't care this. I don't care that.
Exactly.
So that's cool for you. But a lot of people don't have that option. They're coaching because they love coaching or they have to coach or whatever. So again, a lot of kids say, what I try to explain to them is, all right, well, coach, we got moved up our conference, and we're gonna get our asses kicked. So maybe I don't play and I just train. I'm like, wait, you're missing. So you're moving up into a conference that you're gonna see D1, D2, D3 pitchers to compete against that. I don't care if you guys lose 11-0. Realistically, that's the high school coach's problem.
Yeah. That goes back to the process of becoming the player that you want to be. Yeah. The stats, whatever, numbers don't reflect sometimes who you are. You look at the MLB right now. If you go 0 for 20, whatever, people are going to say stuff. But next series and the series after that, you go 10 for 15. It's like, what are you going to say now?
Right. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I feel like we've been hearing a lot, kids saying, "Oh, I need to practice more. I need to train more. In my honest opinion, the way you get better at baseball is by playing baseball in the game.
Right.
We hear this all the time now. Should we be playing this many games? Should we be practicing? Yeah, you should be doing both.
Right.
You should be playing a game every day and practicing for 3 hours every day.
So, and this is a part of that, what I do like. Now, I'll say it out here. I think there's an unbelievable advantage to doing both. I think there's there's real positives for the high school side. So let's talk about the high school side. High school side, you're going to play 3 games a week, sometimes 4, and you're going to have 1 or 2 practices a week. So what are we ready to get to? You're playing more games than practice because you got to compete.
And practices aren't necessarily the average time of your game. You got to travel sometimes to the field, or you're competing with clubs outside of school and stuff like that. So you're competing with permits to the field. So it's not necessarily you're practicing for 2.5 hours. That's like you would play a game for 2.5 hours. You're practicing for an hour, and you're like, that was it?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of high school baseball sometimes.
When I was at St. Mary's, we would have to travel to Adelphi to practice. Or we would practice on the turf outside the school.
And that's necessarily a baseball field.
Same thing with Chaminade.
It's probably a football field that you're practicing
on. No, there was no baselines, nothing.
Or a small 40-foot.
So you're just doing individualistic drills for defense.
And that's great. That's great. And we do it all winter, right? We do it at Coleman. Thank God we have that because it's an unbelievable opportunity for us. Phenomenal. And however, and there's a couple of kids already this spring that I was excited to watch from how much they developed in the winter at Coleman. But I will say this, that we got outside and I'm like, man, that doesn't look like the same guy because they got to get those game reps. They got to see the ball off a real bat, off a pitch. They got to understand. And I was talking to one of my shortstops the other day, and he's like, I'm the field sucks I play on. I'm like, you know what? First of all, get better footwork, read hops better. I get all that. You still might get caught in the chin with a bad hop.
I know. But you know once you learn how to read hops, there's no such thing as a bad
Exactly
field.
Right. And
also the short hop's going into every glove.
Yeah, and I said, are you guys? Do you know what pitches your pitcher's throwing? He's like, no. I'm like, well, how do you?
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, and people don't talk about that.
I remember when we played as an outfielder, I would ask the shortstop to put a number behind
we used to do it all the time,
just so I knew I could actually put my mind to it and be like, all right. 0-2 count, curveball's coming. He might try to sit and go right center. Let me try to shade myself, or think about it in my head about what my first step is going to be. I can kind of anticipate.
And hey, even if you're right 80% of the time, that 80% is significantly better than everybody else. That's the difference in a
ball game right there.
Yes. So
a skill that I see a lot of kids don't have anymore is they do not read swings.
And
they do not adjust where they're playing.
And you know what's so bad? And sorry, I don't want to sit here and judge coaching by any means, but I see it all the time. Coaches get really confused where if a kid hits one off the end of the bat and it squibs this way, they're like, all right, he's late.
He's early.
I'm like, guys, he's so early. Everyone's got to go this way. We got to throw a change up here. All that. You can't catch up to your fastball, guys.
And
he's too early on his fastball.
And you mentioned that. The ball goes to the right side. Oh, he's late. No, meanwhile, he's end capping it. But you're also looking at, are his arms getting long? Can you bust them in and certain pitches you can throw?
And that's what we talk about with those catchers, how they read swings is such a critical part of the game.
So one of my players is a top-notch catcher, and he was concerned about how his team was going to be like, bro, this is an opportunity for you to get the best out of your teammates too. So that's another part of the high school process.
You do it.
Yeah, that's another part of the high school process I like. If you're with some of your friends you might have grown up with, so you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. You got to almost hold them accountable, and then be able to go to a party with them. You know what I mean? So, and that's what college is like. You got to be able to get on the baseball field and be like, hey, get your shit together. And then also, by the way, let's go out tonight. Summer ball's a little bit different. Everyone's got their own cliques. They're only there for the experience. For the high school, these are your boys sometimes. And there's some stigmas that are hard to get away from. That first impression when you're maybe a small little 8th grader, and now you put the work in. But some of your teammates might be like, no.
Look at DJ Dowling there before.
DJ's a little different story because he's really good. Now he's an animal. But certain kids, man, they have a tough thing to overcome. So that high school grouping is like, what are you going to do for us today?
And a lot of kids are scared of their first impression
that's what I'm saying.
And that holds them back a lot. They're like, what are these kids going to think of me? You can't think like that. You got to go in there and give everything you got, whatever you think of you. That's what you are, man.
Or again, in 8th grade, I didn't start on the 8th grade team, so I'm not going to start on JV. No, go get your spot.
You need to work harder that offseason to make that team.
Right. And that's that's another part, and we're kind of jumping around, but it's fun to talk, right? Yep. But the high school process, these aren't your coaches they're not going on the perfect game profiles to see your velo. They're just watching your bullpens. They might get it right, they might get it wrong. We feel like we have inside information. That doesn't even mean we're right. We might be biased sometimes. So, it's really
more like old school baseball, I would say.
Yes, for sure. Yep. And that's a part I like because you know what? When you get to college, nothing's promised you necessarily. Your scholarship can be taken. It won't. It probably won't. But it's a year by year basis. You still need to go there and show something every single day. And in high school, they do the same thing. And these kids, they get a little, I don't want to use the word spoiled, but let's call it spoiled because you know what? They build relationships with us. Like I've had my guys really 11,
they're all comfortable.
Old.
They're comfortable.
Yeah, and I love them. Listen, I love them, and I love that part of the relationship. And you know what? When you and I was talking to my boy about this. When you get to college, it's a blend. Yeah. You're going to build those relationships a little bit to a degree with your coaches, but you're also having that high school coach get on you, like where I don't care about, it's not that I don't care about development, but hey, I got to win this game.
You're a number, man.
Yeah, I got to win this game.
Just like when I got hurt at Albany, they treated me a lot different when I tore my ACL compared to when I was on a 22-game hitting streak.
Right, exactly.
It's like, what are you doing for me right now? Right. And that's as real as life is going to get. And that's a good teacher for the kids on how real life is.
And the problem is they're spending so much time, and I shouldn't say a problem considering we're travel guys, but they're spending so much time in this bubble, and it's a great bubble. Travel baseball is an incredible bubble. It really is. There's obviously some downsides to the industry and stuff, and as we've gotten older, I've actually learned to respect some of the coaches we played against. On the surface, maybe I have a rivalry with them, but then I just see what the passion they're putting in. I see the time they're putting in. I'm like, we're doing this for the same reason. We want to see these kids reach certain goals. For sure. We want to make sure, and we talked about this on many episodes. So many of your memories isn't necessarily did you win the championship game of that tournament. No. It is on the beach with your teammates, and it is in the pool, and exactly. So it's cool to see that. Now again, high school baseball is entirely different. Yep. These coaches are literally show up, work,
bat 9 kids, play 9 kids.
Yep. There's no parent interaction.
Like there's some kids not playing at all.
Yeah, and that's really difficult. It's really difficult to see, but also as a coach, you want to win. But then you also have that heart of I'm carrying 22 guys, and it's
22 guys, 9 are playing.
Yeah, and maybe
and that's hard to keep that culture because there's some kids that get down, they start bringing other kids down.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's where high school ball also changed that a little bit, right? Yeah. Let the kid they all do this, and they'll come to me and they'll be like, "Yo, coach, I'm not playing. All right, do this. Sit there, watch the game." Talk to your boys on the bench and whatnot, but watch the game. Make sure you're getting caught up on the speed of the game. There is a reason why. Out of every 10 kids that aren't playing, my guess is 8 or 9 of them, it's warranted. There's probably a reason why they're not playing. Maybe there's just a kid better. You're at a bigger school. Yeah. Maybe you had a terrible first impression, and now that high school coach doesn't think you're strong-minded enough to go out there and compete, and worried that if you fail, he'll lose you forever. Yep. So, and the communication is not what we communicate. We're communicating with our kids via text. We are talking to the parents a little bit about, hey, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And
there's nothing there.
Nothing like that there. So I remind our players that are in high school right now, this is for everybody, that is in high school, whether you're going to be an all-county player or you are a sophomore on varsity not really playing, or even a junior on varsity not really playing, or a freshman on JV not really playing.
And then let's talk about that. Would you rather be on sophomore varsity not playing or sophomore JV playing every game?
So what are your thoughts? What's your take?
I mean, that is really tough because you could learn a lot being in the varsity level on the bench and stuff, but I think I'd rather be playing.
You'd rather be playing? What about you?
I mean, I have a kid who's at Stony Brook right now who's kind of going through that a little bit. He's as talented as they come for his age group, and I'll mention Chris Cortez. He's playing behind kids going to Vanderbilt. He's playing behind
that kid's stud.
I saw this video today of the kid Ruiz, right?
Yeah, different. Playing with kids going to Wake Forest. I'm like, dude, that's a great experience. And I'm sure he's
learning a lot from watching that.
Yeah, just the footwork and the technique and all that stuff, and just the outside work that has to be put into. I mean, these kids are going to top 5 schools,
right?
So he's seeing that from firsthand. I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
I mean, we were lucky. We probably were never put in that situation.
I never was.
That's varsity freshman year, so.
No, but he's with kids as a freshman going.
Do they have a JV team there?
They do, yeah, and he's good run on that too. He's getting
good run with that. So he goes up and down.
He's getting both of them.
That's what DeLeo's doing right now.
Yeah. So and again, I commend those high school programs for doing the best because to me that seems like you're trying to do what's best for your varsity team by having the depth. But you're also growing the player and the club.
I know it's tough. It's like the JVs, like the minor leagues. You want to develop.
You do, and at the same time, if there's a way to bounce it around, and that's why
I think it's really important that you do see pitching and competitive pitching before you do get into that summer season.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no,
sure.
Sense, you know what I mean?
You don't want to sit on the bench.
If going back to saying do you want to develop behind a kid who's going to a top school, but at the same time, you do want to get your live ABs.
So then maybe practice with the varsity, play with JV, something like that would be good.
You know what's crazy? I'm hearing, so we know there's a shortage of umpires all around the world, I guess, at this point. Understandably so. So why are we not looking at normally it's, okay, if Mepham plays Calhoun on Tuesday, the varsity teams at Mepham, the JV teams are at Calhoun. Yep. What am I missing? Why are we not going Monday's a JV day, Tuesday, Wednesday are varsity days, Thursday's a JV day, so we can taxi kids a little bit more. home games. You bring the whole JV team to sit on the bench. That you know what? Maybe there's a kid that flies. Maybe he's not a polished player yet. Like I'm confused as to why you're also like saving some umpires. Like I'm exactly. Late, like see the speed of the game. Like I don't know.
That is a good question. Maybe I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
Speed of the game. Yeah,
I would love that. And again, you're not sacrificing anything. I mean, you have an opportunity to blend the development and the process.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually,
you know, I'm surprised that's not a thing. Because I know there's a bunch of my players that were in that spot as
maybe because they wouldn't be able to practice then.
I mean, you know what? You make practice on Fridays, and certain players won't practice though. Like again, if Tuesday is a varsity day,
and that's the thing. Baseball is such an individual practice sport.
Right. Yeah.
You do not need a team to practice baseball.
You're one
for team defense and stuff like that. But
listen, in college, in the winter, you go through your first and thirds, and you do all that stuff.
But if you're a high level player, you pick that up.
But most of your work that goes into the game is so individual. Yeah. Like you see kids come in here do a lesson or do a workout on their own. And then they'll go out and display those with a group of 9 guys on the field.
So, we were talking about a player. We obviously won't say his name, but he does a really good job working his butt off. Comes in here, puts on really good rounds of BP and all that, and then we're starting to see it in games just not translate. And we're like, it's a hard thing for us to see and do because he's trying so hard.
I know.
And we talk about it, and it's the sport versus the game. And my players hear me say that all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fear of failure, I believe.
It's plenty of that.
Yep.
Again, it's that. The fear of being a robot, being a machine in here, without understanding what am I actually looking for? What am I actually, all that.
Because when you open up to a big field, you get the crowd, the dugouts. It's a whole different kind of
adrenaline starts pumping.
Yeah,
yep.
And that's why the Northeast kids have such a disadvantage from the Southeast. Because those kids are never inside. They are, but they're outside playing games.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and that goes back to the games.
Yeah. Goes back to the games, and it goes back to like kind of what we're talking about here. Like so. This spring, I don't want to be that travel coach that says, "Hey, use school ball as like your spring training." I don't. Yeah, preseason. I don't want to do that.
I've heard that before.
I've heard it a million times, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Now, listen, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, kind of. Like, I hope my pitchers come out of it healthy, strong, ready to go. You're gonna have some type of arm fatigue early in the summer that we have to monitor early. That's why I love the Battle of B1. Yep. Right, we're competing our balls off. Clearly, you're winning, so you get to wear your shirt. In my face,
I like it for the fact that it's like. We see each other, and then it's kind of like a send off in the summer. Like
but it's also an opportunity for us to manage and work our guys back. So like, hey, you know what? I'm sure you two are following all our guys, and we're texting our boys and we're saying, how you feeling? How's this? How's that? And like, I'm like, all right, you threw 97 pitches.
I know, and that's another worry.
Yeah, it's a worry
because these kids are coming out of the gate throwing 6 innings.
Yes, or just 97 pitches.
Because that goes back to the high school coach needs to win that game.
He needs to win that game, and you know what? Kudos to our players. Some of our guys are tough, and they're coach, let me roll.
Let me get one more inning. Yep. I mean, I've had that. I've literally had that this past weekend.
Yeah,
if we were.
That's what we would.
We were in a league game 3. I'm like, I'm thinking in the back of my mind. I'm like, listen, like this kid, I know how good he is, and I'm like, we need to build him up a little bit. I go out to the mound. He's like, no, coach, I got this whole. I got the next 3 batters. Right. I was like,
that's that.
I was like, all right, listen, he did get it.
You can't. That's a great trait,
and it's awesome, and that's where some coaches are gonna be pissed at that high school coach. I'm like, listen. When I was 15, 16, 17, you're not taking me out of the game either. I don't care what the weather is. I don't care what I'm playing high school ball.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Started every single game and never had to worry.
Never. Right. And I actually think that there's something to that right now. But point being is now summer starts, and that's why our Battle B1 is so great. If I do know a kid was taxed a little bit in high school ball, good, I'm fine with it. Yep. But now, you know what? Hey, we're going to go a baby step back. So I'm not going to have you go 97, 103, 103, 103, 20. Yep. But I'm also not going to go 107 again because I don't have to. Because it's a Battle B1 type of situation. And that blend and that transition from varsity ball or JV ball or even middle school ball at that point to summer ball.
Yeah, your kids are coming from different programs and back into one. And you're kind of it's kind of I don't want to say a refresher, but it's just not celebration, but just coming back and just like, yo,
now
let's work.
And here's the other thing, and this is a big part of it, and then we can transition from high school and all that to summer ball. Is like you do have kids. If you're a Massapequa kid, you're one-minded as a team right now. You want to win states. Yep. If you're private school guys, you guys are competing to win a championship. Right, exactly. Then you do have the kids that are out of high school. They know they're not winning anything. So they're out there to develop. They're out there to compete against the good teams. Yep. So they're coming in still with that high school, like they want to win. Yeah. You have some of these bigger school kids coming in. They actually, for our guys now, they have to reset into a showcase world. Yeah, where, think about that. June 25th, we have about 17 schools now coming to watch our game. Yep. You, me, even if you're guy, we have
to
we have to separate ourselves from
no more bunts first and second in that game.
Unless that guy says it. Like, hey, you know what? Again, a Paradis was a cool one to put.
Oh, yeah.
He might lose the ball his first at bat home run. His second at bat, that coach might say to you, JT, I don't care about the game. I got to see him bunt. I got to make sure you can do that too.
And that's huge, that's beautiful.
That's part of a lot of college offenses.
They could pretty much say what they want to see.
Oh, they customize it. I've done this forever. I've done it forever. I love it. I've used Dylan Pohl as an example because he's the slowest kid of all time. I love him. He knows that. But coaches saw him swing. Like, oh, can he handle that? I want to see him bunt in a game. We can do that. We can customize that. But you realize they're coming from a high school environment where it's I have to do something to win, to going back to blending winning and also how do I showcase myself. And it's questions we get all the time. And that's where it's so weird. And it refreshes on a bad word, actually, Ski, because, again, kids are coming with different mindsets. Are you disappointed? Did Massapequa lose in the States somewhere? And they got to immediately, now I got 20 colleges watching me play again. When maybe I didn't play a lot. And now how do you get caught up?
But in that showcase world, the coach is probably going to want to see you have intangibles.
No,
because
you need it.
Because everyone's going to be throwing 90. Everyone's going to be hitting the ball 400 feet. Who can make the high baseball IQ play? Yes. Who could get the bunt down? Who could back up a base?
Those kids, when you go into showcases, like, man, I didn't hit a double. I didn't hit a home run. Like,
nobody cares. Nobody cares.
And I see the game so much differently a little bit. I'm like, dude, like, you didn't fake bunt. Like, you didn't try to draw that third baseman in and then get your single.
Right.
And like, that's why we stand out, because we're teaching these kids how to play the college game. From 10 years old on.
Yes, 100%. And that's where, again, that blend of again, Chaminade and Kellenbergs, Patty Miles is all world as a program runner and a head coach. Like, I know that my guys are getting better there, but there's plenty of schools where they're not. And again, that's where, kids that keep asking, like, do I even play for that school? Do I play for that coach? I'm like,
and that's why a lot of kids are going to Catholic schools.
100%. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Because you're going to get a more high-level coach right off the bat.
But what if you don't make the team now, though?
I know.
All of a sudden, you're a sophomore coming over that didn't really play on you're coming from a bad program.
You can't transfer in April.
Right. So, like, it's, for you, I mean, I don't know how it was for you guys, but, like, I mean, I know I've had kids transfer sophomore year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Those school that private school doesn't know who that kid is. And again, there are how do I say this politically correct for everybody so I don't bother people too much, but there are coaches that will look at a certain travel team hat and immediately have a reservation about him. And it's not just us. It's a coach from A might say, I don't care about that kid from B. I'm going to take one of my own. Yeah. And all of a sudden now there's a political issue.
There's a lot of travel ball coaches in high school now, right?
A lot. Yeah. Oh, for sure. So
a lot of those teams are going to that school.
And it's such a weird dynamic for me because some of those coaches, like I said, I respect and I believe they can actually get our guys better. But are we sure we're getting treated the same way? And I do listen. I see plenty of it going the right way. But we've seen things in the past where it gets shaken up a little bit. I'm like, damn, like I really there's nothing we can do.
I know, and like that's a tough decision for that coach too, because he needs to get his guys better.
100%. And there's that conflict of interest a little bit there. And I've dealt with those conversations with parents where I'm like, I wish I knew what to tell you. I'm not gonna. I don't want to tell you to go leave to go play for that program just so you make your high school team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't want to ruin your high school career because if you don't play for his particular summer team, you may not make the high school team. Like it's a
tough one, right?
It's a tough one, and it's a shame. It's a shame, and I don't think it's really anybody's fault. I know there's been one or two guys that have tried
they're watching out for the kids.
They are, and there's been one or two that have tried to manipulate the system a bit. That all gets cleaned up at some point, but it's and again, they're probably pretty good baseball coaches. So, like, I don't even mind. Like, I want to be able to call that coach and be like, I get it. He plays for B1, but, like, he could ball. He's a great kid. And I actually trust you can help him get better. So, like, you need your program to win. My kid can help you win. So, and another thing that I've been talking to some of my guys about is, like, one of my guys is he's just pinch running a lot. I'm like, bro, that's really valuable, though. That's really valuable. Mm-hmm. He's a junior on varsity, a good program, and he's pinch running a ton. And I'm like, I mean, to me, you're getting all upset. I'm like, I can't wait to see if I can lead you off now. Yeah. Maybe you're a leadoff guy for a good summer team because now I'm trusting that if you get on first, I know if you're on second, I know you can advance.
There's got to be a reason why he's pinch runner.
That's what I'm saying. So
when you get to college, those roles specifically do open up. Yep. Like, okay, Ev, if you hit left-handed, you're like, you're my 8th inning left-handed bat. If I need you to go play, go get a base hit for me, or a right-handed bat, and then you get a pinch running role, and you're like, holy cow! I can think back to high school, but like, man, like. I thought this was nothing. But
Yeah,
no, this is a big thing for me right now. Like this is
the
my
pinch runners go in the late innings when the game is tied.
Exactly.
They're down.
And you're the hero after that.
Yeah. Look at Dave Roberts on the Red Sox.
I love it. Love it. Yep. I love that.
Who did he pinch run for? Probably Ortiz or someone?
I don't think it matters.
No, yeah.
Everyone in the country knew he was stealing second base off of like really good
shot it through a missile to second, still safe.
Yep. And it's great because like I'm trying to explain to my guys like there's so many ways to contribute in a game, and there's so many skill sets to have.
So many.
And I think that really is important to what you said about in the beginning of this, of the high school rosters, about those 9 guys not really locking in. It's cold out. Watch the game. Yeah. Like your spot could be so important in the 7th inning.
But Ski, how many kids go? I struck out, but I was sitting on the bench freezing all game, and I went in the 7th inning. It was 10-0.
It's your responsibility to stay warm.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, did you just so you're 0 for 1? That's all I heard. I don't care what the conditions.
You got to be running in between every single inning.
And that coach just said, I gave him a chance, and he struck out 3 pitches. Yeah. So
because you never know when your number's going to get called.
Yeah,
you have to be ready.
Right, and it develops you as a leader too. It gives you an opportunity to go out there and lead by example. If you are one of those elite travel players at a high school that isn't very good, again, try to get the best out of your guys. Yeah. Find a strength of a player. Well, some of these kids they're gonna have something. They're gonna be able to run well. Okay, if you run well, hey, find a way on base once again, man. Draw a walk. Understand how to lay off certain pitches, right? Like, hey, you have really good bat speed, dude. Ambush first pitch fastballs.
Like, be my 9-hole hitter. Work a count. Yep. Be the double leadoff.
Second leadoff, man.
Turn the order over. Turn the order over. Be on first base and let's get the motion offense going.
Yeah,
there's plenty of
kids have to understand their strengths.
Right, understand their strengths.
Not everyone's going to be the 4-hole hitter.
Right. No, they're not. And even if you're a 4-hole hitter right now, travel ball, you're probably 6. And then freshman year of college, if you're playing, you're probably 8.
That's the thing. Yeah. Everyone thinks they're the 4-hole hitter until they play at the next level. Yeah. And then they don't know how to do anything else, and then they're on the bench.
Exactly right.
You need to prepare for every situation now, so when you play that elite level, you can do anything.
And that, again, that's some of the benefit of high school ball. Because some of these coaches are going to force that upon these kids. Because, again, they don't care necessarily about the development of a certain player. They see a skill set of a kid and, like, okay, I can utilize that for the benefit of the team. And I like that. And I was talking to a high school coach the other day after their tryouts, a guy that I know really well. And he had 2 spots left. Cuts were down to 5 players. And he called me up and we talked a little bit. He's like, I got one kid. He just flies. Yeah. I'm like, okay, if that's a tool that you can use, like, what's your 5-6 guys? He's like, my 5 hitter rakes. I don't trust him on the bases. So that it stirred it up.
Lead off single in the 7th, pinch runner.
There it is. And I told my guys this too. I said, if I don't care, as corny as it sounds, because we're batting 1,000, I don't care if you're hitting 1,000. If you get on first base and I don't trust you there, what good is it that you're getting on first base?
No, it's no good.
Like, I need to know that
you need to be in scoring position soon, within the first 3 pitches, something like that.
And even less than that, though, Ski. I need you to know where the damn outfielders are. True. So if a kid hits a flare, you are on third base because you knew that right fielder was shading towards the line.
There's nothing worse than a bad base runner.
And what else? What else too, though? You said it. You need to know your own strengths. If you're going to be a great baseball player, you need to know the strengths of your own teammates. Yep. So if we have a guy that is consistently backside hitting, right? You're a right-in, you consistently use right field. If I'm on first base, I understand. I actually may not want to steal right now. Why? Yeah. I want the first baseman holding me on. Yeah. I want him holding me on. I want to keep that hole open for my guy so he hits a base hit. And yes, I also need to know I'm going to third base.
That's why most batting title winners are lefty.
Yeah, right, because they can pull that ball in the hole. It's free hits. Yep. It's free hits. And it's also why, my freshman year, I hit second in college. Yep. Our leadoff hitter was a little lefty guy. Mm-hmm. And early in my career, I think I started like 4-4 and stolen bases. And I literally had my coach say, hey, know when to go. I did a 4-4. Like, you mean want to steal more? No. He was like, he's like the guy behind you too wants to pull that ball in the hole a little bit, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, damn, I never even considered that. So when they flip flopped us every once in a while, I'm on first base, and I'll fake steal a little bit to get movement. Yeah. Now I get the second baseman. So many choppers in the hole.
2-0, you're not going to go. He's going to pull that ball in the hole
all day long. So it's like
that's a really good point.
Oh, listen, those are the things that I thought, truthfully, and this is not me trying to say. I just thought everybody was really like that. No. And then I realized there's more guys like you and you that are like that. Most of baseball's not like that. They're not understanding that stuff. And I always tell my guys too, like, when we're talking defense, think of it offensively as well, right?
So
I think I try to use my kind of two-way
Sure.
college,
great for you.
College, experience into the travel baseball world as a pitcher, and then think of it as a hitter.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it really,
that's a huge advantage.
What you just said too is again our topic. There are so many kids that are POs in high school, but they rake. But just because of the makeup of their high school, or they're playing up because they have a great arm, they come into summer ball, or they believe they want to be a two-way guy in college, and they got to get ready to hit again. Only way you're going to do that, again, is at the very least, utilize what you're doing. How did you get that guy out so when you're hitting, you can avoid or eliminate what he's trying to do to you to get you out? So there's so many different mindsets. And again, for everyone right now that's in high school, right? Like, listen, if you're the 3-hitting starting shortstop and you close games, you pitch games too, just go ahead, ball, stay healthy. That's great. If you are a fringe guy or you are a guy trying to get better, it is so important to be able to take some of that frustration and say, okay, let me man up. I know I have 55 games of high level travel ball to play coming up, which, by the way, is double what you're going to play in high school. So, that's one benefit that we have is we get them for more games, longer period of time.
And nicer weather.
Oh, for sure. We'll finish with that too. But so sit there and get better at something on the game side of it, right? The sport versus the game, my guys hear to nauseum. People hear more of it, right? The sport is getting in here, putting a good swing together, understanding all that. Freddie Freeman had an unbelievable post the other day. I think I posted it. I hope more guys saw it. And he said, you could have the best swing in the world. If you swing and miss, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know what that pitcher's trying to do to you, you are going to get out more than you're not.
Yeah. I just started with my guys a quality AB chart. And just trying to get them more in tune with team culture and how do you win games? How do you beat pitchers? How do you get yourself on base? How are you going to make yourself a better hitter?
Yeah. Exactly. And so speaking of the weather, right? This is brutal. I am soft as all hell when it comes to this weather. But you know what? Let the game give you an opportunity to contribute. If I'm freezing and there's a man on second base, nobody out, I am up on the bat and I am inside outing a ball to the right side. I hope I get a hit out of it with a ribby. But what am I at least doing? I'm going to move that runner over to third. Yeah. So now the 3-hitter JT can come up there and say, damn, good. I don't really need a hit here. I got to look for something to elevate, hit in the air, hit a sac fly.
Yeah, you could bunt there, do different things.
Hey, we're up 1-0.
Yeah, you don't got to hit a ball 100 miles an hour.
No, that's the exit field thing.
And speaking of some of that stuff, did you guys see Vinny Pasquantino? The
Royals dude?
Did you see
Yeah, I saw your post. Yeah.
Bro, he's unbelievable. He was pretty much saying what we're about to say. When did it stop being cool to just score a run and win a game? Oh, yeah. He was talking about how
a sac fly goes against the war or something.
Goes against metrics.
Yeah.
I'm not. We don't have the time for tonight. We will have an awesome.
Great
listen,
thing, man.
We will have an awesome metrics conversation. I want to bring some guys in. Jimmy Joyce pitching with the Marlins. Yeah. He's of Mariners. He's a great one to bring in.
I'm so happy we didn't play in that world.
Yeah, dude. The problem is we are very close to coaching in that world.
I know.
Where these kids are going to talk about.
That's all I talk about.
I don't think I had my exit velo recorded once in my career.
I would not have been good if that's what they cared about.
Honestly, I don't think I ever did it once.
Nah. Guys, my hits were inside out, doubles to right center.
Yeah.
My home runs were hanging curveballs with backspin, so that's not crazy off the bat.
A lot of kids will talk. You'll hear, what's your exit velocity on TrackMan, or where did it go? But meanwhile, what was the result?
Right. No, results.
And I just saw that. I was watching the Clemson. I don't know what game it was. I think it was something. And a kid hit a ball 110 miles an hour, but it was windy, so it stayed in.
Sure.
But the guy on the announcer said, and TrackMan said that ball would have went 420 feet.
Great. All I know is we have an out. You're 0 for 1, buddy.
Got a guy.
Listen, we're not. I won't do it. I won't go down the rabbit hole because that's an ugly rabbit hole for me because I'm very passionate about that topic. But all kidding aside, with the weather and all, find a way to be productive.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that it's too cold. I struck out. It was so cold. Did the game give you an opportunity to do something? By the way, it's really cold for pitchers too. So you know what I'm saying? Do something in that at bat to grind and make that guy throw more cold baseballs, fine spin, fine.
No
grip.
infielder probably wants to pick up a ball and
nope.
You looked at the Met game yesterday, I think it was, when you take a look at the outfield, soaking wet.
Yeah.
Put the ball in play and let them make a play.
Yes.
Let them dictate the game a little bit.
Yep.
Even though
on the defense.
Yeah, even though you're like, my grip's wet or whatever, it's cold out. Let me go hit a ball to the outfield. Let them pick up the ball. Let them soaking wet and go throw it over third base.
Yep. This is a good reference. People always like to go baseball and boxing. We got a boxing guy here, so we'll always go with that. But throw jabs. It's not a knockout punch in the first round if he gets up. You didn't knock him out. So that solo home run in the first inning, but most of the time you don't do it. You have all these innings left, right?
Home runs don't mean anything really.
throw your jabs,
Yeah.
hit your single on a wet outfield grass,
Yeah.
make that outfielder
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
and you got to
Yeah,
wear down the
challenge
other team.
Yeah,
Wear them down. Put pressure on the defense the whole game.
How did Lindor start the home opener? Base hit the left center, recognized that they didn't go 100%.
Push to the second base.
Listen, he got the ball beat him. He still slides in. But now, what does that center fielder and left fielder have to do on every
Puts
single
pressure
round?
on him.
Yep.
Every-
Now they're going to take their head up in 1 second. Or
Now, one time, guys. What do I always
Happened with
say?
Soto in right field too with Santander.
Yeah, guys.
I used to love hitting singles, making that hard turn.
Love
Yeah.
it, love it, love it.
If
And
they booted it, you just jogged a second.
and you know what you did? You just ruined that guy's day.
Yep.
He might go for 4
Embarrassing.
now. Yeah, and now every ground ball he's worried about
And now
it.
now the
What's
rest
the
of
pitcher
teams
doing?
would
The
do it.
pitcher's throwing his hands
Yeah.
up. You just ruined
You
so
put him in
much.
scoring position. Now you changed up his whole kind of
Yeah.
pitching attack.
Yep.
What is
So-
he going to do this next guy?
The base running wins games at this level.
But all that, just pressure.
Yeah,
Pressure from
pressure.
start to
Yep.
finish. So when my hitters tell me it's really cold out, guys, choke up on the bat, find a single, turn it into a double,
Yeah.
put pressure on a guy, make that coach yell at his outfielder and bring that negative energy to a team.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like you might.
And that's
Put
they
Pierce
can't,
on.
and they got to learn they can't tell their college coach that.
Yeah, right.
They were like, "What the hell are you talking?"
100%. Yeah, and again, like you said,
Yeah.
I love everybody. I hope all our guys get to go to Florida State and Miami and Florida.
Yeah.
The majority of them, 99.8%, are going to be in the Northeast. And you know what? This weather sucks.
Yeah.
And if you're a freshman and that coach is giving you at bats or he's giving you innings in the field or on the
Gotta
mound,
make the most
and
of it,
you
man.
don't and you can't perform because it's
Prepare.
cold,
You have to prepare.
you got to. And it starts now in high school.
And these
Yeah.
high-level coaches can read body language immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
If you look like you're cold, he's gonna think you're soft.
Yep.
Easily.
100%. And honestly,
heads down the end.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
like, I don't want this kid playing for me.
Right. And I'm not telling people to go out there with no Under Armour.
Yeah.
Hell no. I bundled the hell up, but I wanted to play. You want to compete.
Yep.
So make sure these kids understand that that's where high school ball is super important. I think it does build character.
Yep.
I think it does help maturity because you know what? You can complain all you want at the dinner table. And for all the parents that be careful at dinner table talk. I don't know how many parents are aware of it. The dinner table talk goes a lot deeper than they realize.
Oh yeah.
So yes, I get it. You want to vent to your kids a little bit, and you want to be like, I can't believe coach. And that, with us too, travel ball, it's fun. It is what it is, and they're gonna say all that.
That negative energy carries over into the next game.
It does, and that kid, and it might not even be about your own son. Sometimes it's even worse when it's not about your own son. Sometimes even worse if you keep getting on the right fielder because he struck out 4 more times.
Why isn't my son playing?
Yeah.
Even if your son is a 3 hitter and you still want to sit down and complain that the 9 hitting right fielder is killing your team,
No, you can't do that.
your son is just going to subconsciously show up in that
Don't be
mood.
bitter.
It's
Be
not what
better.
high-level players and parents do.
It's not what they do, but unfortunately, and that's a warning to our players, man. Hey,
Yeah.
your parents, they don't mean it. They don't mean it. They really don't. They're frustrated because they want to see their son be a part of a winning team, a winning game, a winning program, whatever.
Mhm.
That kid in right field is not trying to suck.
No.
He's not.
And the craziest thing is when the parents never played. Like,
That too. Yeah.
it's like, how can you judge a kid playing this game when you never did it?
Yeah. And it's a scary proposition when the coaches are
Trying
borderline.
to teach something that they never went through.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the well, actually both sides, right? You have high school coaches that are trying to do they're trying to do their best.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, like, no disrespect to a math profession. That's an unbelievable profession. Great job.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't really play baseball or you've been out of the coaching game for 15 years and you're just trying to get it first, I get it. Get your money, do your thing. But I do understand why my players come to me and say, Coach, this guy's he's telling me to do this and I just think he's wrong. It's like, okay, like, hey, yes him and make sure you're getting better and make sure you can control what you can control. So
Stay coachable. That's it.
yeah, it's a good call. It helps that too. Coaches are, I'm not always right. Hell no, I'm not always right.
Mhm.
My guys, I believe, will at least trust the process of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to be accountable and be like, you know what, that doesn't work for you. Not everybody's the same. So,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing too. These high school coaches, they may not be able to read the room at the time. Like I know I have certain guys. Like, listen, I'll call Jalen Josie out. I love him. I can grab his jersey and get in his face. I didn't think I could do that. To
How
him.
many times you benched him?
I benched Jalen Josie more, no joke,
Yeah.
in that one season
Yeah.
than in my
I
entire
remember.
career benching anybody.
I remember.
To the point where some of my older players that coach for me is like, "Did you just bench a kid?" I'm like, "No, I
Yeah.
love him. I just want to get
That's
on
a
him a little
learning
bit."
lesson for him, and
Yeah.
that's
But-
how good he is now.
And that
Correct.
just helped him.
But I also was able to learn and understand. You know what? He actually is a little tough. Like I can grab him by
Yeah.
the shirt. And
he
again,
is tough.
his family's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Parents are unbelievable.
He's
They
a lot
want the best
tougher.
for
Like
him.
he doesn't give off that vibe, but I feel like he's really
How many
tough.
times
100%.
Yeah.
How many times did Derek come to be like, "Yo, thanks, Dad"?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He would. And me and Jalen would laugh about it and stuff. But then I do have kids that if I were to ever try to give them that like football love and that tough love, I know they would shut down. So I won't do that to him.
Yeah.
High school coaches don't have that advantage because they have a kid right away.
And they're probably respected a lot less.
So
when you're respected a lot less, it's very hard to get in someone's face.
So, but sometimes they'll try to do that, and then they get shut down.
Yeah, that's over. Then they lose the locker room, and it's over.
And it's a tough. It's tough.
It's tough. Really tough.
So I don't envy high school coaches for that particular situation. But for all the kids, like there are so many advantages of playing high school baseball. There are so many advantages of playing travel baseball. I think you develop your own kind of personality and stuff with high school ball because you're with your friends. Not that your summer team is.
And it also teaches you sometimes when you're not playing how to act on the bench.
Yeah, because guess what? I don't like, and especially when we talk about expectations with college ball and stuff. Right now, very few of these programs are playing freshmen. So yes, you may have played your whole career, but in high school, all that. You know what? Actually, pay attention to your boy in high school that's kind of riding the bench right now. Granted, he might be the starting 3-hitting, shortstop for summer ball. Pay attention to how he's handling it because, that might be you as a freshman in college.
That could be his first time with adversity.
Yep.
Correct.
And you know what?
If you don't handle it the right way, it could spiral downhill.
And don't sprint to the portal. Don't do it. There's plenty of opportunities and situations where it makes sense, but don't go there and be like, I'm not playing. I can't wait to go into the portal 7 days into.
But listen to yourself. That's an attitude kind of thing. That's right. Like, dude, get better. Put your head down, go work, and be ready. Keep getting better. So.
Yeah. So this is fun. I think we can go on for this for days and days and days. But I hope some of the guys out there right now that are on that fringe of, am I playing a lot? What do I do? It's cold out. It's this. It's that. Find a way to win that day, whatever that is.
Be present that day.
Yeah, well said. Yep. Well said. Be present.
If you just get better that day and you do whatever you can that day, you'll put yourself in a good spot.
If you're mentally out, you just got worse.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It's not fair. There's plenty of times where it's not fair. There's plenty of times where that kid that is deserving, that probably should be doing it,
because there's even politics in high school.
Yeah, but again, it just might be just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, it might be.
But the majority of the time, like you said, if you are not present, if you are not mentally there, well, you never get your shot. You just won't get it. Or if you just do you're going to screw it up. Yeah. So, be present. I love that. I think it's a really cool quote. Win that day, whatever that role is that day. I mean, we've joked about it with you before about being the whatever, talking the most crap on your team that day. But that really is just something. I'm going to come to the game. I'm going to make an impact. I'm going to do something the right way. And you know what? Hey, I'm going to watch what that pitcher's doing. And if I see my guy struggling with that kid's slider, but I notice that he's tipping it a little bit, I'm going to help him out. Yep. And you know what? That goes a long way. So
and watch a kid that's like you and see what he's doing.
Exactly. Yeah, be better than him.
Yeah,
be better than him. If you're going to be, your role that day is to be the pinch runner, but just you got that role isn't there for you. But another guy across the dugout, he gets a pinch running role. He gets started at second base. Know why? Be like, I can't wait to be better than him at my role.
And there's also ways on the bench you could stand out.
Yeah.
Like foul ball is hit, go run and get it. Yep. The coach is going to notice that.
Yep.
Give the umpire a water in between innings. The coach is going to notice that.
Sure.
All those little things, he's going to put you in the game more than the kid just sulking on the bench.
Well,
I've had conversations about that in college about, I'm going up to the coach and saying, like, what could I do to get more time in the game or get my opportunity out there? And then you go down to, if you talk about someone else, you're like, do you think so-and-so deserves opportunity? Right. For sure. You show up on time.
Yep.
You hustle on and off the field.
Yep. Oh yes, no, great, Ski, great point. There are more captain C's in high school than travel because maybe it's a freshman that or maybe it's a senior that played varsity as a freshman. Year. He's a captain senior year. Yeah. That coach mid-season, you're 4-3, you're on the cusp, might sit down with the captain and be like, "Yo, what do you think about this guy? He's a sophomore. He's hitting 600 on JV. We were going to bring him up anyway." Yeah. Listen, I love the junior that we have, but he's sulking a little bit. If that senior knows that kid does everything right, he's on and off the field hustling, he's always a thing, he might say, "Yo, let's do it." But if that kid is a punk, if he's the guy that's leaving the dugout while everyone else is tarping the field and he's walking off on his phone, and that senior sees that, nah, bro, we can't have that. No, I'd rather go tell my junior, "Yo, let's get it together," because your body language and stuff, right? Your body language stuff is you might lose your spot.
It's all about trust.
Yep. So really good point, man. Like that's a really good call. Those you freshmen out there that are on JV, you sophomores out there that are on varsity,
do the little things right.
And it's so important. And people always do say, how you do anything is how you do everything. Mm-hmm. Even if you got to fake it to make it, just do it.
Why not?
Just do it. Right? Why not? Really, why not?
And tell the coach you think you should be playing.
Yeah.
They want to see that confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
Coach, I could get outs for you, man. Whatever.
Yep.
Coach, I could hit. I could play outfield. I could play center field. I could play infield. Whatever.
You're not
whatever
calling
you
out
need.
teammates. Yeah, you're just ready to go.
And that's the thing. Like with our sons, we're gonna teach. I'm gonna teach them to play every single position
Yeah, why not?
from
Why
the time he's a young kid.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's gonna be better than him when he gets to that high school age.
Listen, my best friend in the world is a reason why I didn't get stuck catching because everything says I'm a catcher.
Yeah.
But he was so good and never wanted to give it the gear. He let me go play short, which is my natural
Yep.
position.
Did you see that quote by, I don't know if it's a quote, but Garrett Stubbs on the Phillies?
Yep.
He was, I think he was an infielder at one point, but one of his hitting coaches said, "You're never going to make it to the bigs as who you are right now.
Right.
Yep.
Go behind the dish, go hit lefty, and you'll make it there someday."
Yep.
And meanwhile, we are seeing it in the big leagues right now. These coaches think we can just put O'Neal Cruz from the infield to center field, and we're seeing how that's going.
It's not
Because
going well.
It's not going well. I'm sure it will at some point because he's a phenomenal athlete and all that. But like, I can promise you, he wasn't out there shagging fly balls for real like we used to
No.
for fun.
Yeah.
These guys just think I'm a shortstop. So yeah. Make sure that that spot. If coach says,
Play
"Hey,
every
third base is
position,
open," don't be
man.
like, "Oh, it's the 1%."
Yeah, if a coach is asking you to do something else, he sees something really good in you, and he
Yeah.
sees an opportunity for you to get onto the field.
Yep. So make sure you
Don't take it as like an insult. Be like, "Man, I'm not good enough for this."
Every
Be like,
position
no.
means just as much.
All right, this is fun. This is fun. I think the next one we'll have a guest, and then the next two after that we'll have some live D1, D2 college coaches.
Should be good stuff.
So subscribe. Make sure we're locked into that.
Yep.
We actually gotta get that word out a little bit because I do want. I
Subscribe,
think
baby.
the live ones especially are
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
great.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's
Tune in.
Great job, boys.
Wiz
That's
Kid,
fun.
Chris, appreciate y'all.